week on Geek Crash Course, we're covering... Alright, I want to apologize in advance because I know how insensitive this may seem, but I only get one chance in my life to do it. So... Godzilla!
Godzilla began with 1954's Gojira, featuring a dangerous nuclear-mutated monster attacking and leveling Tokyo.
It was an allegory for the effect of the atom bomb on Japanese society. Godzilla himself returned 1 year later, and Gojira raids again.
The film spawned a franchise that were quickly brought to American shores.
The franchise is split roughly into eras, based on the imperial reigns and the turn of the millennium.
The Showa era had 15 films from 1954 to 1975.
The Heisei era had 7 films from 1984 to 1995.
And the Millennium era had 6 films from 1999 to 2004.
The series has been on a hiatus since then.
There was a 1998 American film that was really Godzilla in name only.
Either way, most films involve Godzilla's return to mess up Tokyo, more monsters show up to capture him or stop him or generally annoy him. Whatever the reason, they fight and it's awesome.
The name Godzilla is a romanization of the Japanese Gojira, a combination of the words for gorilla and whale. The name refers to the size, power, and water-based nature of the king of monsters.
Godzilla isn't the only daikaiju, or giant monster, of the franchise. Here are some of our other favorites.
Rodan originally starred in his own movie and became an occasional ally of Godzilla throughout many films of the Showa and Heisei eras.
Mothra is another star who took smaller billing to join the Godzilla franchise. He might be the best known of Godzilla's enemies. He's generally a mystical defender of the Earth, something that more often than not puts him at odds with the king of monsters.
King Ghidorah is a golden, three-headed dragon that has the dubious distinction of never being Godzilla's friend. Sometimes an alien monster, sometimes the product of time-traveling shenanigans, it's guaranteed that when he shows up, a fight is on.
Mechagodzilla. Whether built by aliens or humans, this robotic enemy of the King of Monsters is always awesome. Undergoing the most variations from the original design to the modern era, Mechagodzilla makes losing over and over again look good.
As the Showa films carried on, Godzilla became a father to Manila, or Godzilla Jr. This diminutive and strangely adorable Prince of the Monsters has taken turns as mascot, monster in distress, and bait for his overly protective father.
Godzilla himself was played by Haruo Nakajima 12 times, from the original 1954 Godzilla to 1972's Godzilla vs. Gigan.
Here are our top 5 Godzilla films.
Starting with 1954's original, Gojira. This is where it all began. Now make sure you check out the original Japanese version, not the heavily edited and partially reshot American version.
1968's Destroy All Monsters. This film is the last hurrah of the original director, special effects designer, and legendary composer. It features a slew of classic monsters and Godzilla on Monster Island, and the conspiracy to release them to wreak havoc on the world at large. Again, go for the original Japanese version if you can.
1984's Return of Godzilla is the start of the Heisei era and a sequel to the original film that ignores the previous films that were between it. Anyway, Return of Godzilla is darker, grittier, and better. As with all adapted films, go Japanese or go home.
1993's Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. The 90s era of Godzilla hits its peak in this updated battle between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, featuring Godzilla Jr., Rodan, and the humans caught in the middle.
And finally, 2004's Godzilla Final Wars. Designed to be a grand farewell to the franchise before its self-imposed hiatus, Final Wars features a slew of classic monsters like Mothra, Gigan, King Ghidorah, Anguirus, Rodan, and even the American Godzilla, who's called Zilla in the film and treated with the lack of respect he deserves.
Godzilla once battled King Kong in 1962's aptly titled King Kong vs. Godzilla. That's it for this week's Geek Crash Course.
Sadly, it's also the end of Toku Month.
Next week, things are going to get a little bit confusing.
Bear with us. If you have any questions, comments, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, or our website, geekcrashcourse.com.
Subscribe above, comment below, and we'll see you next week on Geek Crash Course.
Top 5. Part 1, take 2. Sunday.
Logo a go-go.